to the workshop, and it's a very exciting day today because today we finally going to unveil the finished chassis. Well, can you believe it? After all these weeks of pain and suffering through the grinding and the sandblasting of this massive 22-foot long industrial-sized rusted up Bedford chassis frame, we are finally done.
The sandblasting of the chassis is over.
Fair to say it's a good day for progress in the restoration of this 1975 Bedford Firetruck. Join us this week for the final stages of priming and painting, as well as loads of other seemingly random stuff. More zinc plating, some early Christmas decorating.
That looks crazy.
And, oh yeah, of course, some sandblasting.
Been a mad time. It's been really hard work, the sandblasting and the painting, but the results are here, and it looks massive.
How did we ever think we were going to be able to do this in a week? I think it's taken about 6 weeks.
No, 4.
6.
It's 4 weeks.
6.
Right, it's another morning back in the tent. I spent most of yesterday grinding down the chassis. It was quite dirty work. I was filthy by the end of it. I thought I'd spend a little bit extra time on this one because it helped for the sandblasting to do it a bit quicker. As you can see by the sand on the floor, I've already, I emptied the load of sand from our last batch, and I put some fresh sand in, a new nozzle in the blaster, and started on a little bit of it yesterday. Yeah, and basically that's what I've got to do. Got to just sandblast the rest of it and get this end in paint, and it'll be done.
Poor Tim, hidden away in that tent for days on end, counting the hours of his life in grains of sand, most to be washed down the plug hole each and every evening. Ah, what am I talking about? I think we all know by now that he secretly loves it.
Mind has put me on the edge.
I haven't been filming much of this because it's a very bad environment for the camera, and you've seen it all before. It's just loads of the same. It's just boring, and I can't think of how I can film it to make it interesting. So not very exciting viewing, I don't think. Anyhow, getting close, and I am looking forward very much to getting this little chapter out of the way. There's more sandblasting, but the smaller pieces I'm kind of almost looking forward to. It's just a big piece like this. It's those ticks, you know, getting them ticks ticked off motivates you. Anyway, I can't waffle on any longer. I've got to get around and do some more sandblasting. Right, yeah, I'm a little excited. It's a chilly day today. It's the very beginning of autumn, or fall if you're American. Weather's getting a little bit nippy, but it's still good enough to paint. Which brings me on to the reason I'm so excited. Time to get the primer out. Which can mean only one thing. The sandblasting of the chassis is over. It is finished, we're done. And I'm pretty glad about that. It's been some really hard work. It's dirty, it's filthy, and it's taken far, far longer than we ever imagined. Yeah. But I'm very glad to be getting some paint on, finally. It's quite a slow process, even painting this thing, so I'm not really looking forward to spending half a day in there with a spray gun, but it's pretty good. I'm pretty glad that we've done with the sandblasting of the chassis. Yes, there are more parts to do, but each one of them, we'll take them as they come. But this is good. Better get painting.
Darkness nearly drowned me. Sunlight low, don't it burn my eyes? Darkness nearly drowned me, and the sunlight low, don't it burn my eyes? This valley's much too.
That's a bit tiring. The chassis has its first coat on it. Now, I started this at about 12:30 and it's now 3 o'clock. But means it's Saturday, a late lunch. Second coat won't take as long because I'm not going to get into all the fiddly little areas like I did for the first one. I'm just going to go over the bigger, flatter bits. And it should go into all those places as well anyway. But yeah, it's just so many little nooks and crannies to get into. And all going around all the rivets and all the holes so that they're all painted up properly. Yeah, it's time consuming. But yeah, that means Saturday now, so that means Monday morning, if the weather's okay, we'll get the black on. And that'll be the end. The end of me.
Well, the weather, predictably, was not in our favour. A fierce north wind flapping the tent around every time the doors were cracked open more than half an inch meant that Tim had to resort to painting the frame in the dark. But he wasn't going to let that stop him. Isn't this what torches were invented for? As we've said before, it's an intensive job applying top coat to a large surface like this. Once you start, you can't stop. And he applied 3 coats altogether, including having to go in and around all those many bolt holes. But nothing was going to stop him from finishing now, and in the end it looked, well, brilliant. See for yourselves.
Take another step down this lonesome road. Well, my cup is nearly empty. I got such a long way to go. Yeah, my cup is nearly empty. I got such a long way to go.
After all that, we finally have got it all done, and it's amazing and brilliant. And you might have noticed just in all that footage there that I was curiously absent. That's because I was absent. I had a bit of a break for a couple of weeks because after doing the first half of this beast, I was absolutely shattered. So I'm afraid I left it all to Tim to finish off, and I think he's done an absolutely marvellous job.
You're leaning on my fresh paint.
I am.
It was a lot of work, so it's like 4 weeks I think it's taken overall. There's a lot of sandblasting, a lot of grinding, a lot of cleaning, and a lot of spraying. And yeah, and this is it. This is the fruits of our labour. This is the unveiling of the chassis. Has anyone ever unveiled a chassis? But this is it. It is now out. We can move it around on the trolley, and we are now going straight on and getting on with the other bits we've got to do. We've got a lot of parts, and we've got not a lot of good weather left.
No, the weather has turned absolutely horrible just the last couple of days. It's cold, it's raining. We've actually just grabbed this few minutes now while the sun's shining in to be able to show it off, because it's been so dark and dingy in here. And it being black, it tends to, you know, not show up very well on the film. But
yeah, it was hard work. Yeah, even when I was painting this, I don't know if you could see in the end of the video bits, it was so windy that I had to shut the doors, and I literally painted this by torchlight. And being black, you can start off when it's grey, you can see where you're going, and then gradually it's like it absorbs all the light out of the air and you just can't see anything. I'm like, where is it? It came out really good. I mean, it's a chassis, all we were trying to do is preserve it and put a good protective coating on it, but the paint is like really good. There's like maybe 1 or 2 runs in it somewhere, but I mean, that's pretty amazing for a frame like this. It's fiddly. But yeah, it's really good.
I think we're both slightly shell-shocked.
My clothes are knackered.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend that anyone have a go at it themselves the way we did it, but having done it, it feels quite a relief and really exciting now to be able to have this finished piece back in the workshop where we're going to rebuild it from this point upwards. So as Tim I think has already said, we are ploughing ahead now with cleaning up the parts that we are still going to paint, which we're going to just get on with. Whatever the weather does really, we'll just figure out how to do it. I've got my plating, the zinc plating of all the nuts and bolts is now like really underway, doing lots of that this week. After that we'll then be moving on to doing the powder coating once the weather gets like really bad over the winter.
Yeah, this it looks brilliant. It makes all the other parts look rubbish, but it's great seeing this here, and it's a great tick off the list. It allows us to move on, and yeah, it's the home straight, isn't it? Nearly finished. Set of shock absorbers. These seem to work pretty good. So we have cleaned them up, sandblasted them, sprayed them in epoxy, and since as we put so much effort into these, not that much, Lisa's really excited because we're now going to spray them in what you would decorate your home at Christmas time. Bauble gold, I'm going to call this. Oh my word, that is some serious gold. How gold is that? Yeah, alright. That looks crazy. But I like it.
It has long been our intention to bring in some brighter colours in alongside the brown and the black base. The gold nuts and bolts, the silver powder coating, accents of red and gold in the yet to be determined sign writing. And now this. Maybe after all that sandblasting we just needed some sparkle. Well, these certainly delivered on that.
So Monday morning, and you find me sitting in a big massive pile of metal. So this is all the stuff from the chassis that we have got to do in probably a very short space of time. So we've obviously got the big engine here, we've got the massive axles, which we are going to be leaving for a little while because they need to be broken down further. So we're going for some easy wins, but I'll talk about that in a second. What have we got? We've got the we've got the petrol tank, we've got another axle, we've got some leaf springs dotted around, we've got the airbox thing over there, we've got all the exhaust bits, we've got a gearbox, we've got somewhere over there, we've got the transfer box. So, and lots of pipes and other kind of bits and pieces. So to start with, we are pushing ahead with the things that need to be sandblasted and painted, just making the most of the reasonable temperatures while they last. We're going for some easy wins, getting as much done as we can. And then there's going to be a few bits and pieces that we're going to be powder coating as well, which are currently just like in a little pile of their own next to the oven. But we'll be doing those a bit later on. So for now, we're going to be sandblasting a few little bits and pieces, trying to get a few things done quickly this week, hopefully. And while that's going on, we're also zinc plating, probably around about 2,000 to 3,000 nuts and bolts. Better get on.
I'm slow and lazy.
Are you going to fire yourself?
I wish I could. For two reasons I can't fire myself is, one, I wouldn't find anyone else to fill the position of me, and two, no one else would give me a job.
So every morning we've been coming in, we've sort of established a bit of a routine for the day really at the moment, where we come in. Tim, who's over there to the right of me, just cleaning up some nuts and bolts for me, he'll do that in the morning. I'll start plating, he'll start sandblasting, and so the day goes. It's all kind of boring at the moment really, I suppose. I think I've got somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 nuts and bolts and washers to plate, and so far I think I've done about 300. So it takes time for all the chemicals to heat up and everything. Every batch takes probably an hour or something, and you can only really do a few at a time. But what I have been doing is going really well. Got all the big nuts and bolts in here that I've been doing. They've come up really nice and shiny. I don't know how well you can see that. It's dark and gloomy and miserable again this morning, but we'll get them all out at the end and show you what they all look like. And then at the end of the day, I get them all hung up, let them dry overnight, and then take them down the following morning and start the whole thing over again. So yes, this is the batch that I did yesterday. There's about another 34. I've got some hanging up there. I've got them hanging up here as well. You can maybe see them. They're all looking really good. Really pleased. It's just like everything. It's just so ripping slow. Oh, right.
Why is it not on? La, 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 la.
So it is shaping up to be a bit of a funny old week this week, really. We've had a lot of weather and not an awful lot kind of really progressing. Well, it is progressing in the workshop, but it's really not a lot to show for it. We've got some more bits and pieces sandblasted. Yes, I did actually go back in the sandblast tent today. First time in about 3 weeks. Slight PTSD, just getting over that. Done loads of zinc plating on all those nuts and bolts, and Tim's just going through some of the bits of tangled up metal that I showed you earlier. I think he's fiddling around with the air tank at the moment. So I don't really know what this video is going to be like for you all this week, but hopefully just kind of shows a little bit where we're at. It's just the reality of what it's like around here at the moment.
Although it doesn't always feel like it, we are actually getting through quite a lot of stuff at the moment. With the frame now thankfully finished and the zinc plating going really well, Tim has been able to get quite a few of the random bits and pieces into primer and into top coat. After all this time, could it actually be that this old Bedford might soon be getting put back together again? Like a big shiny jigsaw puzzle, we are getting excited to see the whole picture getting reassembled in front of us in the coming weeks.
Well, we haven't stood here for a while, so...
Is this the end of the week, is it?
Yeah.
The end of the video.
The end of the video, the end of a couple of weeks of work and filming. Bit of a summing up of everything that we've done, I suppose, in the last couple of weeks. I'm not really quite sure what I've filmed, so I don't know what is actually you've just watched in this video, but I hope it was okay.
I feel like so much has happened in the last couple of weeks that I don't even know where we started it.
It feels like a really long time ago since Tim finished doing the chassis frame, but I'm looking at it just behind you there and it looks pretty amazing.
Is that in this video?
It's in the beginning of this video.
Yeah, we've had a really busy couple of weeks. There was a bit of a gap in the last video before that, so we probably caught up a little bit somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have successfully finished the frame of the chassis, and that was a huge relief.
That's probably the most important thing that's happened.
Yeah, getting that out of the way, that was brilliant. It looks great. Yeah, all fantastic. And then since then, we've actually started with all the bigger parts that we were going to paint.
Yeah.
So we have 7 bits, 6 in the tent at the minute.
We've got 4 gold shock absorbers.
Yeah, I forgot about
Big
that.
news this week.
Yeah, they're around. And obviously you have been very busy plating.
The fruits of all the zinc plating. I think there's about 300 or so pieces here. I've got some more hanging up just over there that I did this morning. Probably got quite a few left to go, but varying results, but I think I've really got my technique honed now, so it's
and when you say 300,
well.
300 of these is more than it was of the cab, because some of the parts are quite...
Oh, they're quite big.
Yeah. They're quite hefty. I mean, these bolts and stuff, they're pretty big parts.
And you've been doing your bits?
Yeah, I think next week I'll be continuing on with those parts. Dismantling some of the bigger bits, cleaning them up, started stripping the air tank down. There's a few more of those sorts of things, and once they're out of the way, I guess we get into powder coat. No, the axles.
Oh yeah.
We got plenty to do.
I was really panicking a few weeks ago, thinking we're never going to do all this before winter, but
I'm going to touch wood before you say it.
I'm not saying we are, but it's looking a lot less worrying perhaps than I think it was a couple of months ago. I mean, we are kind of whizzing through some of these pieces that, like with the sandblasting and painting of the smaller parts, have to do in the frame. It's just so easy. It's like...
Yeah.
It's It's nothing. It's nothing. Oh yeah, I'll just sandblast that. Give me 5 minutes. I'll have that done. Yeah, no problem.
And it's great, as we saw with rubber parts as well. The shock absorber, the bump stops. It came out really good with just a little bit of sandblasting on them.
Those.
Yeah, little things like that. Would take
before and after.
Yeah, and it was so easy and quick to do that. So hopefully a few more small parts like that, and now we know we can do some of those rubber parts and not have to worry about. Yeah, really good.
So I don't know what we're doing next. I'll probably be doing this for some time.
Yeah, yep.
And you'll be
sandblasting. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this most recent of episodes. Consider subscribing if you haven't already subscribed, because that would be really good for us to get to a wider audience.
Oh, wouldn't that be grand?
And give us a thumbs up if you liked it. And
should we go?
Yeah, and we'll see you back here hopefully
in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm kind of half blinded. You got to get in the sun so I can see you.
It's actually really nice. I'm just making the most of every bit of sun that we get, because it's been a little bit hit and miss the last couple of weeks.
So until next time, thank you very much. And have a good time. See you later. Bye.
Bye. Should we go home now?
Thanks for watching. Thanks too for all your likes and comments. You know who you are, and you're all awesome. See you again soon.
Make me insane.